everybody. What's up? It's Hold the Truth Hostage, where if the truth was so important, we wouldn't negotiate with lies. We would hold the truth hostage. Now, I've been meaning to do this video for a while, and I've been thinking about it for a while. And I think it's very important, especially since I follow so many comic book related channels, and I keep up with the news on comic books and what's going on. And I just think it's time, it's overdue that someone comes out and just tells the honesty of what's going on in the comic book section. And why a lot of the so-called parallel economy isn't really helping the industry, in my point, from a stability perspective, because in reality, I think from what I'll show you, you'll see that a lot of the parallel comic book economy is basically just inflating profits. And it's actually a parallel to what the mainstream comic book companies are doing, such as DC, Marvel, and so on, where the prices are just so high for absolutely no reason other than to inflate the profits. There's a lot of indie comic book creators out there. I myself am included in that. I've been working on some comics and I've had fundraisers as well, but and I've followed some of the issues I will cover, because there's this narrative going on that, a lot of people want to save comic books. They want to aid the comic book stores. They think that, the mainstream companies are letting the comic book stores down and they're sabotaging them. But in reality, they themselves are a part of this. And in a major way, this parallel economy is sabotaging the indie comics itself, because it's taking out so much resources from the consumer base that other indie comic books can't even thrive, because comic books have never been more expensive than they are now. And when you're looking at it from the indie market, it's more expensive than the mainstream, and without justification, unless it's inflating the prices. It's really about inflating the prices for profit. And the thing is, by the time you're done watching this video, you'll realize that comic books cost more than video games. It costs more to buy comic books right now, especially from the indie market, than it does to buy a video game, because the indie creators of this parallel universe, or even if they don't consider themselves that, you know, a lot of indie comic book creators and fundraising are just hyper inflating the price to where, it, even for a PDF, a downloadable a downloadable file so you could read the book, costs more than a physical book for no reason. And the thing is, the PDF doesn't have cost for physical equipment. Like, I'll show you right now. These are all the comics I have on me right now. You know what I mean? These are the comics I have on me right now. As you could see, and a lot of it is indie, and I got some of my own books, because I want to show you what's going on in the comic book industry. Why the indie market is actually just, in my opinion, it's kind of gouging the consumer base and just taking far more money, and the prices are far more elevated than ever before. And the thing is, while the narrative being spoken by most independent comic book creators, comic book commutators, that they want to help the comic book industry, they want to help the comic book shops, they want to basically help rejuvenate the comic book industry. But in actuality, it's really just price inflation. So what I'm going to be doing in this video is I'm going to show you that a lot of the comics you're supporting, be it on Indiegogo, Kickstarter, it's really hyperinflated the price. And that as this continues to happen, the comic book market will just continue to shrink because of the price. So what I'll show you is I'm going to show you certain books I myself have supported, or certain books that I know some friends have supported, and I'll show you that it's all overpriced. You know, it's extremely hyperinflated. So let's go. Now, I supported the book, I supported the original I Some book. You know what I'm saying? I supported the original I Some book. And I have a review of it on my channel. I didn't support it because, oh, it's gonna be the greatest book ever. It's gonna be written to be the best book ever written. I didn't support it for that reason. I supported it because, I thought, if the guy could get the book out, and if he could get it done, if he could showcase that, you know, it's possible, that he breaks this record, he generates this much money, that it could show to others that you don't even need a Kickstarter. You don't need a Kickstarter. You don't even need their websites. You can host it on your own. Because I've been on Kickstarter and I've seen how they play a favorite game as well. They play their favorite game of who they prefer. And also, Kickstarter has this algorithm where it even messes with your potential customer and so on. So I bought iSum. Now let me ask, I know what you're wondering, how much I paid for it. I paid over $40. You know what I'm saying? I think it was $35 plus the shipping. So I paid over $40 for this comic book. It was over $40 for this graphic novel. You know what I'm saying? Graphic novel, comic, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But the question you're wondering is, was it worth the $40? You know, was it worth the $40 when it comes to a price, a price to product comparison? You know what I'm saying? Was it worth that price? And should it have even been that price? Well, the answer is it isn't worth $40. This is a hyperinflated price for this book. You know what I'm saying? It isn't worth $40 because the price is inflated. And I'll show you that most comic books you buy are inflated anyway. It's not about recouping investment, as usually it would be. What indies would be doing is, let me recoup the investment, as in, if I invested $2,000 in making my comic book, it's considered a success if I make another $2,000 so I can fund the next book. But when it comes to today's comics and today's indie creators, it's not about recouping investment. It's really about inflating profits and trying to drain and milk as much money as you can get from consumer, the potential consumer, as possible. You know what I'm saying? And I bought it. I bought it knowing that it wasn't worth the price I was paying for, because I bought it I invested in it to showcase that it could be done. You know what I'm saying? It could be done. Something could be generated and made from someone else. And also I'm going to be proving that the PDFs, Because in the independent comic book section, there's a major scam going on. There's a major scam going on that they can't, or many creators won't give you. They won't give you a PDF for a book. You know, they won't give you the PDF, but in reality, that's a scam itself. The reason, and I'll show you why it's a scam when they say I can't give you the PDF, I don't sell it, I don't have it, because the reason is that for you to print your book, and I'm going to show you this, for you to print your book, you have to send the printer a PDF. You got to send them a PDF, a digital version of the book that is properly sized so they can print it. So it could be properly sized through a digital file, then they'll print out the physical. You know, so I'm going to show you why this is too expensive, and I'll show you why the profits are really inflated, and why a lot of choices, why there's this major narrative that the independent creators actually support the consumer far more than the major corporations such as Marvel and DC. You know, there's this narrative saying that, you know what, we indies support and are more pro-consumer than Marvel and DC. When actuality, most of the time, that's a lie. That's a lie that these so-called indie creators are pro-consumer. You know, it's a major lie, because a lot of indie creators are actually about forcing the customer into purchasing their product as they want it. Not as it should be, but as they want it to be. Give me 1 minute. Yeah, so a lot of indie comic book creators are about forcing a price on the consumer. They're about forcing a price and forcing a premium that isn't required. That the consumer shouldn't have to pay at such an inflated price. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not just focusing on this book, but I paid for it. The highest book I've ever paid for is this, around like $40. That's the price of a video game, you know? And I'm going to show to you why these books cost this much and why the prices are heavily inflated, why they're super inflated. You know what I'm saying? And why you as a consumer are actually placed in a corner where you're forced to pay for a quality they want you to have. They're going to be advertising, oh, it's the quality, you know, it's better quality for you, it's the paper stronger, the paper's better, when in reality, it's taking out the consumer's ability to read the book at their pleasure. Not everybody wants to read a book and keep it or protect it. Most people will read a book, throw it somewhere and forget about it or give it away. If you know what I'm saying, the major problem is most of these indie guys selling books have a collector first mindset, where their whole perspective of the industry comes from a mostly towards the collector.
And by the way, crowdfunding is not terribly helping either, because the vast majority of crowdfunded stuff is also being sold at $15, $20, because whether it's, conscious, whether they realize it or not, they're playing to the same strategy. They're playing to a strategy of a very small number of collectors. I don't know if Eric July, I don't know if he has plans, for example, in his book of, hey, once I get this thing in production, I start churning out more and I get the operations all worked out, I'm going to lower the price because that's how I'll appeal to a wider audience. I don't know. Maybe he may have said that. I don't know if that's his play or not. But you might argue, why would he do that? If you're able to raise a bunch of money, if you're able to sell your comics to a specific niche, by the way, or niche, it doesn't mean small. It just means specific. There is a specific audience that, is willing to pay money for those books because it for whatever reason. Now, I don't think July is hitting, but that's in effect what's going on. So, it would be wonderful if we could turn back the clock and get comics to the point they're actually growing a new audience, going for new people. That would be wonderful. And I hope comics can get there. But it's gonna require a massive change of strategy in order to do it. And
Yeah, so this was I Someone. This was I Someone. This was I Someone, the book, as you could see. He succeeded, man. I'm happy for success. I was glad I could be a part of it to help make it happen by buying a book. But the major issue with it is that, and I'll have to show you the second campaign because the first campaign expired and you can't really see all the books being sold. But I'll just show you. So as you could see, it's $35. You know what I'm saying? And let's say you select it, and you select one item, and you go to the cart, whatever. Now let me make it one book. As you could see, for one book, you know what I'm saying? Let me see. I'll update the cart. For one book, it's $37.89. $37.89 for this one book. For this one comic book, and I think the comic book is about. Let me go back to it. I'll go back to show you the page count. How many pages it is? Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I gotta see how many pages. Okay, now let me see. Yeah, so it's a 96. Let me show you. 96 page book. It's a 96 page book. Now, when you hear this, you're thinking it's a lot of pages. That's a lot of pages for a book that it's 96 pages. You know what I'm saying? You're thinking that's a lot of pages for the story. Give me a minute. Yeah, you're thinking it's a lot of pages for the story. You're thinking there's a lot of pages in this book. That's what you're thinking when you see the 96 pages. But in reality, you got to remember that when it comes to a book, and let me remove the page for the site quick. When it comes to a book, yes, it's 96 pages, but you got to remember the law of printing. You got to remember the law of printing that each page is double-sided. So I'm going to show you. So this is one page. Page one, it has an image. It has an image on it. Then the second side has an image on it. You know what I'm saying? It has an image on it. So it's not really a 96 page book physically. It's really a 48 page book. So it's 48 pages. When you do the math, 48 times 2 is 96. So that's how you get 96 pages. So, and this is going to be very important to understand that each page equals it's double-sided. So, you're really paying for 48 physical pages. You know what I'm saying? Of course it's double-sided, but it's really 48 pages, and together that equates to about 96 pages. So 48 pages, each page is double-sided. So that makes it 96 pages. And the reason I'm saying this is that this is going to be very important to show you why these books are overpriced, and purposely overpriced, in that you, the consumer, are basically cornered and placed in a position where you have to pay more than you have to. Now let's get back to the site. Yeah, so now that was the first campaign. That was the first campaign. And you won't be able to see all the pages, you know. Now this is the second campaign. You know, so this is the second campaign of the ISUM. This is ISUM 2, the pre-order campaign. Now let's look at the pricing. Let's look at the pricing practices. Let me zoom in a little. Yeah, so look at that. So that's $35 for this book plus shipping, you know, alternate covers, so another $35 and $100 for I think this is a metallic cover or something like that. Let me look mm, yeah, so these are the signed copies of the book, and it's $100. $100, and it's limited to holy, oh man, that cover. Oh wow. What? Something ain't right. Yeah. Yeah, it's a hundred a hundred dollars for this book. $100. And you know, yes, it's 112 pages. This time around it's 112 pages, but you gotta remember the math. You gotta remember that you gotta break that into halves. So 112 divided by 2, it's really a 56-page book. It's 56 pages. And you know, it's 56 pages. Remember, it's double-sided each page. So that makes it really 56 pages. 56 physical pages with both sides makes it about 112 pages. But you got $100 for this book. You know, 5,000 will be printed only. You know what I'm saying? So it's damn near over double the price. And at the end of the day, you're free to price, you know, you're free to place the price of whatever you choose to. But the problem, and this is the foil cover. This is the foil cover, adds like a metal foil finish to it. But even with this cover being foil, it still doesn't warrant the over double the price of it, you know. And the reason I bring this up is that one of the major talking points in the independent comic book scene and in comic book commentators is the pricing of Marvel and DC, and claiming that Marvel and DC are too overpriced and that they're just gouging the customers of their money, and it costs too much for the hobby of comic books. So this is $100. This costs $100. This costs more than a video game for the PS4. You know, they're at $70 now, $60 to $70. This costs more than a PlayStation game, you know. But you know, this is $100 with a 5,000 limited print. And I'm gonna prove to you why this price is overpriced as well, you know, for no reason. You know what I'm saying? Besides that person's choosing. So this is $100. And let me back out. The other covers are $35. And then there's you know, the graded edition. So for a book that's graded, where it's graded and placed on you know what I'm saying, I guess they graded the book, not, you know, so that's $125 for a graded book. You know what I'm saying? $105, 125 for a graded book, you know, of a comic. You know what I'm saying? And then let's see the other prices. Another graded book for 125. And I don't really mind the clothing price. That doesn't mean nothing to me. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and I think these are all posters. I wonder if they're those. I think even the posters are overpriced. Because I'll show you everything. I'll show you where I think these books are being printed. I'll show you where I think they're being printed and why the cost is too high. You know, and at the end of the day, the man is free to sell anything at any price he wants to. It's his call. He's free to sell it at any price he wants to. But also, this is one of the big issues with the indie market. The indie comic book creators are more focused on inflating their profits than actually having more readers than the profits, and it's far more excessive than what Marvel and DC are doing. And you'll hear this narrative that they got to negotiate with the printers and all that. That's mostly a lie. That tends to be a lie when it comes to we got to negotiate with the printers, when in actuality now anyone could print a comic book, and I'll show you the companies that print the comic book. But the problem that happens is, yes, when you see the money, when you see the total money outcome, he's raising 1,903,684 right now. And the total books sold, what I'm saying, he's at 16,000. He's at 16,000 books sold, which is a large number, but in actuality, it could have been potentially triple to four times that. The problem with most indie creators now, when it comes to the major companies, is that the indies are more focused on the dollar amount. As in, look, I've made 350,000, I've made $1 million. But how many people have your books and how many people have your product? Because the brand loyalty is about how many people obtain and get your book. The more people you have purchased your book, the more and the larger the scope of your fan base. Because let's say he's got 16,000 purchases right now, 16,000 purchases. And of course, some of those will share with a friend or a family member. So you could assume that probably around 20,000 people will actually interact with this product. 20,000 plus, will see it, know it, what I'm saying? But if it was reasonably priced, and the other thing you got to notice is that there is no PDF. There is no PDF for the book. You know what I'm saying? There is no digital release for the product. And he probably could have sold the digital book for, like, I'd say PDF. I mean, I don't think $5 would have been bad. Maybe 5 to 10. Depends. $5 to $10 wouldn't be bad for a PDF. And the PDF would help those people that are in a location where they can't get the print, or honestly for people that want to have a way to not lose access to the book when they misplace their physical book. That's why the narrative of thinking about the customer and making the customer's life more easy, more simplistic, more focused on the customer, that's where it becomes a narrative that is falsified. Because some customers, many customers, especially now in this digital age where we all have phones, we all have cell phones, it's very beneficial that we have a digital copy of the book, a digital copy that we can travel with and go around with. So to me, it doesn't help the consumer that they can't get access to the PDF, but the printer can. The thing is, the printers, to print this book, Eric July had to send them a PDF. You know what I'm saying? That's the usual practice. He had to send a PDF, you know. So the printer is allowed to have the digital version, not the customer, you know. And like I said, it's about the dollar amount. So most likely, many of these guys selling comics won't present a digital copy because they believe that the digital copy will lessen the amount of money they could make off the physical, off inflating the physical price, you know. So that's what you'll see. That's what you'll tend to see where they won't give the digital copy of the book. You know what I'm saying? They won't give the digital copy because they want to inflate the physical price, you know. And many will say that they can't give the digital. They Another thing you'll get from these so-called independent pro customer comic book creators is that you'll get this narrative that a digital comic isn't a real comic. You know, that a digital comic isn't a real comic book when the younger audience, for the most part, has grown up where digital was their first introduction to the comics and their first book. You know, you'll hear, "Oh, we don't support digital comic books." But the thing is, these are the same people that are watching digital movies, streaming video, yet they're saying that a digital comic book isn't a real comic book. You know what I'm saying? While they stream digital content that are films and so on. So it becomes a way of shaming your consumer. You shame the consumer and then you limit access to consumers by making it physical only, you know. But some people, a lot of people, especially now, I mean, it's 2020s. People been wanting only mad people wanted digital back in the 2010s, you know. So you see this, there's no digital option, you know. And then you look at the price, $35 a book. In all honesty, it could have been way cheaper, more affordable than that, especially when these are the same people saying that the major companies are price gouging out the consumers and the potential customers, you know. But then you look at the price of the book, you know. So, you know what I mean? So that's what happens. Now, what I'm gonna show you is some others, you know. So I'm gonna go to another site and I'll show you. So let's go to Indiegogo. Let's go to Indiegogo right now. All right. Yeah, now I'm on Indiegogo. Let's explore some comics. All right. Let's explore some comics and let me try to pick most funded, you know. Now this is I know some of the creators. So I think, yeah, this is Doug Naples' book. Let's see what's going on here. You know, oh man, yeah. So he raised about $81,000. Let's see. Continue reading, and as you could see, you had the signed book for $70, and he was selling it $25 a book. You know what I'm saying? $25. The cards and all that. But I think it's a hardcover. It's a hardcover book, you know. And I think let me see how many pages he had. I think it's a collection of 18 graphic novels. Yeah, so we'll go back. We'll go back. I most likely will have to delete this part. But I'm gonna scroll down. So a good example of this is look at the ebook. The ebook is $15 for the graphic novel. You gotta remember this is a PDF. This is a digital version of the book, meaning there is no physical, stock you got to worry about, such as the page counts and stocking the book and so on. I'm trying to see how many pages this book is. I don't see the page. Oh, yeah, this book, yeah. So the book has 48 pages. So for 48 pages, and if you do the math, 48-page comic really is about, give me a minute. Yeah, 48 pages. It's really a 24-page comic book. It's 24 pages. When you do a side to side, each page is about 2 pages, as I said. But look at that. So for really a 24-page worth of books, 48 pages of content, of course, but side to side, that's $15 for 48 pages. Remember, you could get it could be a movie for that price, but $15 for the digital when there's no physical, when there's no physical aspects to money and resources that go on with it. Then you get the other digital copy with a different cover, $15, $25 for the physical. And one thing a lot of these guys like to do is they like to force the hardcover on the consumer. Because one thing a lot of indie creators, as you could see, I got a copy of Common America here. And this is really a 56-page comic. So 56 pages, you know what I'm saying? It's not even that many pages. And I'll show you. Give me a minute. Let me remove this. So you see this book, Common America. I got a friend of mine, he collects, he orders some of these books. He orders the Common Americas, and he tells me to read it and give him a review or something like that. And I've reviewed this book. I'm not going to talk about the quality of writing or whatnot, but for this is a fifth. I think this is a 56-page book. So for 56 pages, let me do the math. Yeah, this is a 28-page book. And now on his campaigns, you pay about $10 for the books. So you pay $10 each. But really, what he's done is what Tim Lin and the creators of this book have done is they forced the hardcover on the consumer. Because a lot of these guys are in love with this hardcover book. They're in love with it and they pass this to the customer. You know what I'm saying? When this isn't needed, it don't need to be a hardcover book. It could have just been really a saddle stitch book. It could have been something such as this. You know what I'm saying? Something such as this where it's stitched together. Let me get a newer version of a book. But yeah, it could have been something like this, which is stitched together. It would have been more affordable to the customer. Yes, it's not a hard cover, but the goal is to make the pricing as convenient to the customer. And at the end of the day, let the customer decide if they want to protect their book or not. You know what I'm saying? If they value it so much that they want to keep it in mint condition, you know what I'm saying? They want to keep it in mint condition. They want to protect the book. Let the customer do that rather than force it on them. Like you see these books right here, these are all stitched together. You know what I'm saying? Saddle stitched. And I think they call it, or they call it saddle stitch because I think it's saddle stitch or stapled. It's stapled together. You know, this was the Robin King. I really hated the art inside of the Robin King. The art style to me, I didn't enjoy it. But you know, but it was a book, whatever. I think the Robin King costs about $5.99 for this book, the Robin King, you know. And then I got this other book I got that was saddle stitched, you know, saddle stitched. You know, I read Sangha and Superpowers, you know, I read it, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, I read the book and I treat it the way I want to treat it. And I'll show you why. You know, a guy said something very important about how you treat these comics. And I'll share with you his opinions. And I agree with it 100%. You know, comics are designed for you to read and dispose of. They're disposable. And if you want to collect it, you collect it.
I've always been fascinated by so-called trash media like pulp novels and comics. They were meant to be read and then thrown away when one was done reading them. To me, horror books are emblematic of what the comic experience should be like. They were printed on newspaper because you were literally just supposed to throw them away when you were done reading them, like you did with the regular paper every day. It was what was expected. Comics were never initially intended to be fetishized and kept in clear plastic with cardboard backings, and hidden away in a long box somewhere in the closet or basement. And there's something to that idea that fascinates me, art that was designed for one-time use.
So, you know, as you notice, you know, digital $15 for a PDF. And I think it's a hardcover book. You know what I'm saying? I'm not 100% sure. I think it's hardcover. It was originally, I think it was hard. Yeah, I think it's not hardcover, but it's perfect bind. And I'll show you what perfect bind means. But let me go to another book. Let's go to another series by a lot of these guys. Ghost Bandit. Yeah. So this right here, I think is from I think this is from Razor Fist. So yeah, this is from Razor Fist. And this one, man, this one's funny. The pricing on this one, and you gotta understand, these are the same guys saying that they represent this parallel, I think, yeah, parallel economy where they'll do it different than the comic book industry. They'll do it different. They'll do it better. They'll be more pro-consumer. When in reality, it's really just, you know, hyperinflation when it comes to the pricing of the book. And it's all about the profit number. It's not about how many people bought the book and growing a base. Now you got 5,000 backers. That's 5,000 people, you know, but that 5,000, if the pricing was more convenient to the consumer, could have been probably 15 to 30,000 people, you know, but you wouldn't get to the inflation of $347,439, you know.
Or are like completely in on the idea of what would be deemed as a parallel economy. And I'm going to explain what that means in my terms and how I view that. But a parallel economy is more so looking at some of the things that we like and love and need. If the focus shifts from trying to change them and more about building a parallel economy, what would exist would be an alternative to whatever that is. And it's not just in the entertainment sector. Think about this for every single industry. That would exist maybe alongside it that does the same thing or tries to fill the same role, the same demand. Like I said, I wasn't that all in and bought in on it, but certainly as more time has progressed, that's going to be a necessary thing.
because the price. And this one, man, I had a laugh. I had a huge laugh on this one because check it out. Now let's see. Let's read it. I'm trying to see how many pages are in this book. So how many pages are in this book? So it's a 105-page book. 105 pages. You got to remember, you got to do the math. You got to always divide that by 2. So 105 divided by 2. Give me a minute. Yeah, 105. So I mean, it's most likely a 54-page book. 54 pages with about 105 pages of story content. But look at the pricing practice. Look at the pricing practice. So you will receive $10. For $10, you get the PDF. So $10, you get the PDF, 105-page digital. It includes the digital. Now, this is the part where I had a laugh. You know what I'm saying? I had a laugh. So you will pay $25. $25. You will get the physical book, but it does not include a digital. So you don't get a digital version of the book when you pay $25. So he doesn't include the digital PDF, which doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense that you bought the physical at $25 and you do not get the digital. You know what I'm saying? Hollywood did this with the movies. I remember when the movies came out on DVD and you would buy it, they would give you the physical and the digital. So you pay $25. And remember, this is the Iron Age. This is pro-consumer. This is for pro-consumers and so on. But you pay $10, you get the digital for a 105-page book. You pay $25, you get a soft cover. You know what I'm saying? Soft cover, I think it's black, and you get a black and white soft cover, I think. But it only includes, so you pay $25, it only includes the physical. You do not receive the digital. You don't get rewarded the digital version as a backup just in case you lose the physical or you got damaged, lost, and so on. So this is pro-consumer practice of the parallel economy. This is the Iron Age. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to show you why this only benefits Marvel, DC, Image Comics, Dark Horse. It only benefits the major companies, because this advertises that look at these indie guys, these independent guys, they've inflated the price so much. You major companies, please decrease your price. And what it does is that, let's say he's selling a soft cover at $25. Marvel most likely just needs to sell something at $10. You know what I'm saying? $10 or something. And I'll show you that Marvel is and DC is, Image Comics, Dark Horse, they are. So for $25, you do not get the digital copy. You know what I'm saying? Which makes no sense. Then for $35, you get the soft cover again, but this one's in color, and you only get the soft cover book. So you don't get the digital. So you would have to spend $10 for the digital plus this soft cover. Then for the hard covered book with over 150 pages, hard cover, and you still don't get the digital for free. You don't get the digital. It's $50 for a hardcover book. And remember, it's 150 pages. It's over 150 pages, but let's assume it's about 150 pages. So let's do the math. How many pages is that? You divide that by 2, 75 pages. But the way comics work, the pages are printed in 4s. So you got to assume that it's actually probably 78 pages on the book. So, but yeah, so for $50, you just get the hardcover. $50 for a comic book or graphic novel, whatever you want to call it, graphic novel. So for $50, you get a graphic novel. You know what I'm saying? And I think you get another $50 for the monochrome cover. Remember, this is pro-consumer practices. This is a different, this is a parallel economy and so on. When really the prices are inflated so you could, give us as much money as you can because you're backing the people fighting wokeness and the major corporations that are overpricing their graphic novels. So, and you got to ask yourself, how does this help a comic book shop? And I'm going to show you that, a lot of these guys talking all this comic book shop support don't really support the comic book shops. Not really at all. I mean, the pricing alone could show you that they could care less for the comic book shops. So $50 for the hardcover, $50. You know what I'm saying? $50. Then for a combo, look at that. For the digital, to get the digital with the hardcover, you gotta pay $75. More than some video games, most video games out there. So $75. The only way to get the digital with the physical is this small combo of $75. So, you look at it, $75, you get the soft cover, hardcover, and digital. You know what I'm saying? Then the $100, the big combo, this is gonna help comic book shops. This is really gonna help comic book shops. This is really pro consumer. So you spend $100, you get the digital, a signed poster, a hardcover. This is why these guys, man, all this talk about surpassing Marvel and these other comic book companies, it's a joke. You know what I'm saying? Yes, he got 5,000 backers, but 5,000 when it comes to a sale for Marvel would be failure. So it's really 5,000 backers with an inflated price. You know what I'm saying? Pro consumer, but $10 for the digital. You know what I'm saying? And I'll show you that this isn't a one-off thing. One thing you'll notice with the indie comic book space is that the pricing is inflated. Now let's go to another creator. Let's see what's going on. Because I'm on the highest grossing. So let's say plot holes. Let's see how much plot holes is gonna cost you. So plot holes, a buck for the thank you, okay, whatever. Let's see how many pages is plot hole. I'm trying to see the pages. Oh yeah, so it's 166 pages, 160 pages. You always gotta remember, you gotta do the math. You gotta do the math of this, so 160. So you divide that by 2. So that's an 80 pages comic book. 80 pages, you know what I'm saying? Now let's see the pricing practice. So $1 for a thank you, $10 for the digital. $10 and you get a print pack add-on, and $30. So it's $30 for the physical, and at $30 you get the digital copy and soft cover and so on. And you get your name, So it's a soft cover basically similar to the ISOM book. It's a perfect minded book, perfect minded. So soft cover, you get that, it's not bad, but it's, $30 for the book, so, and you see the pricing going on, a pricing practice. Let me check one more thing. Let's see another book. Oh man, that one was funny. Red Rooster. Oh man, that takes it back. That's a funny one. Now, let's see. In fact, let's see another case for the little umbrella. I think this is made by a YouTuber named Tug. So let's see how much Tug is pricing the book. Let's see the pricing here. So for the book, $25. You know what I'm saying? And I don't see another 25 with another poster. Then a $40 with a cover. So this for a book, $40, another 40. You know what I mean? And no digital version of the book. So the only person who gets the digital is the printer. The printer is the only person who gets the digital copy. $50 for some for some graphic novels, and it's a 40-page graphic novel. So 40 pages really means it's a 20-page book. You know, side by side, it would equal to about 40 pages. So for 40 pages, you're paying $50. You know what I'm saying? For all three, no digital at all. Now let's go to Kickstarter and see what's going on. Now let's see this comic right now. Let's see the rewards. So $5 for the PDF. You know what I'm saying? So $5 for the PDF. And $10 for the book and the PDF. And $12 for that, for a different cover or whatever. You know, and then you see the other prices, 16, the variants, the covers, and one's $20, you know, one's $25. Look at all these variants, all these billions of variants of covers. You know what I'm saying? $35 for a soft cover. You know, $30 for a soft cover, $35 for a hard cover. $45 for a hard cover. Try to let me filter it. So I'm gonna filter it with the most funded. You know, we did have the whole Berserk thing with Keanu Reeves, and I bought this book, but man, the art style is horrible. Doesn't even look like Keanu. I'm not a fan of the art style. But let's see what the rewards. Yeah, for the soft cover, it was $50. Looks like it was $50 for the soft cover. You know what I'm saying? And I don't see any digital option. I don't think there was any digital. And it went up to hardcover, 3 items included. You know what I'm saying? It was $99, man. Wow, for graphic novel, man. Hardcovers. You know, this is what's going on with the comic book industry. You know, and it's 384 pages, you know what I'm saying? But this is what's going on with the comic book industry, man. The pricing is insane. It's crazy. It's wild. Pricing is wild, man. It is wild. Yeah, this is David Paluto. Let's see what's going on with Paluto. Putting up. Yeah, so the rewards, the digital copy was $6. You know what I'm saying? It was $6 for the digital copy. And it was about $28. You get some bonus items and free shipping. Get a digital copy. You know, this is what's going on. You know, it's $39. You know, it's what's going on. You know, Paluto, man, I give him that. His hustle is real. He's making all these books. Yeah, there it is. You got something like Common America. You know, he runs a lot of campaigns, but and you know, pricing wise, it ain't bad. Let's see the rewards. So for the PDF, that's $5. $5 for the PDF. Like I said, a buddy of mine, he bought all these books, and for the hardcover for the book, you get $10. And with Common America, he's always forcing the hardcover on. You know, because it would be wrong if you got a a soft cover or just a saddle stitch. And now most of his books are usually about, let's see, I think the page count. Let's see the page count. I think it's 56 pages. So you don't got the page count, but I think usually it's 56 pages. So if you do the math, let me do the math again. Just got to divide that by 2. So it's 28-page book. 28 pages. It's usually with his books, I think, about 56. You know what I'm saying? So $5 for the PDF. Which, in all honesty, the thing you got to think about is when comics were, let's see this something like this. This book right here is, you can't see it, it's $2.25. So the physical book, an old book, you know what I'm saying? An old book, Iron Man, you know, Hands of the Mandarin. That was back in 19. I don't think Marvel has the. They didn't put the year, but this has to be like the 90s or something. But look at that. You know what I'm saying? This is a physical book, $2.25. You know, but a digital book, you know what I'm saying? I would understand digitally, probably, depending on the page count, I'd say probably 99 cents to about, especially if the page count, I think if the page count, in my opinion, is below 64. If it's below 64, I don't think it should be above probably 199, you know, but it's about the money grossed. It's about the money made. So you got 2,070 backers purchased it. Now, if you do the math on that, you know, it's 2,370 sales, you know, which it raised a lot of money. Great aspect of that, you know, raised a lot of money, you know. And to me, my thing is I'm not immune to it because I used to do it. I made my own book. Where is it? Yeah, this was my book right here. And as you could see, I followed the same habits, you know. I made it was $5 for the PDF, and I sold the book at $10, and I sold the alternative covers at 20, you know, 30, you know, one of them, and some of them I sold like at $50. This included like a t-shirt and you know, graphic t-shirt and so on. You know what I mean? So we sold some of those, but you know, now I look back, I'm like, yeah, the PDF, and this is a 24-page comic book. So if you divide it by physical pages, it's just a 12-page comic. And you know, we sold that for like you know, that PDF should have been at least $1.99 to 1.99, or just 99 cents. And a physical book should have cost around, you know, 1.99 to 2.99, you know, plus shipping and so on. But you know, it shouldn't have been the price I had it on. So I can admit my problems. I can admit when I followed the the narrative of what was going on. You know, sell high, you know, sell very high for the consumer and so on. You know. Now, you know, I could go on for days on all these different Kickstarters and so on, and show you that a lot of them are overpriced, man. Extremely overpriced. And I'll show you something. Let's go to Steam. We'll go to Steam if you're a gamer. Let's go to the Steam store. So, you know, this is Steam. They're having a sale, whatever. But let's just go to the store. You know, in the store, if you look at it, these games are cheaper. They're cheaper than some They're cheaper than a lot of Kickstarters out there, man. That's how bad it is. The price is so inflated. And, I know these are on sale, but look at that. That's $60 for external, whatever. I'm looking at the ones without pricing. And then you could get some that are just $16 for a whole game. Let's take a look at this. So, this is $15. You know what I'm saying? It's a video game. But if you go to Kickstarter, man, you'll have to pay $15 for a book. You know what I'm saying? The pricing of the medium, there's no thought behind it that, dude, this is a comic book. This is a book with some art books, art pictures. It shouldn't cost more than a video game. Oh man, I gotta buy this game. I like it. You know what I'm saying? I gotta get my hands on this. But yeah, it shouldn't cost that much, but this is what goes on. This is why Marvel and DC, and I'm gonna show you Marvel and DC soon. But yeah, in fact, let's go to marvel.com. So look at this DC comic. So this is $3.99. Page count 32 pages. So if you do the math, that means it's a 16-page comic. 16 physical pages. So DC at least shows its comic prices, Let's see, Robin. Again, that's $4.99, and even their prices are inflated. $4.99 for a 32-page book. But this is the price of a Kickstarter PDF. This is what you will get as a PDF on Kickstarter instead of the physical book. So the indies are charging you $4.99 for a PDF. They're charging you $4.99 for a PDF. Then so let's see another book. I'll just look at one more thing. I'm not looking at this Night Terror garbage. Batman Dark Knight Journey. It's $1.99. $1.99 for this Batman Journey into the Night. But now let's look at Image Comics. Okay, this is Image Comics. Now let's see how much Image is selling their books. So $3.99 for an Image comic. You could buy it at your comic book store for $3.99. Let's keep looking at the comics they're selling. Damn Image. Just go to Nemesis right now. So Nemesis, you know what I'm saying? This is $16.99. It's a collection. Look at that. This is a collection of the issue 1 to 5, $16.99. $16.99. You could buy it on Amazon. $16.99, and you couldn't get on Indiegogo or Kickstarter. This will be what, $40, $35, $50. So the indie market, man, if you look at it compared to the major companies, man, they cost a lot more. They cost more than the major companies, and they're not even established. You know what I'm saying? Let's look at, I'm trying to look at something cool. Let's look at this. Look at that. Major crossover. You know what I'm saying? Scorched. $16.99. $16.99. I don't know why Todd McFarlane doesn't just draw the covers, man. Let's see the comics. Let's look at, trying to look for something cool. Damn, man, what happened to, let's see what this is. Arc. $4.99. You know what I'm saying? Top Cow imprint. Oh, that don't sound bad about poaching. But yeah, you see that? Look at the price, $5.99. So the major companies, Image, Let's look at Dark Horse for a minute. Image Comics. Dang, Dark Horse might have to fix their website, man. Let's see. So Hellboy, $3.99. $3.99 for the physical. 32 page. 32 page book. Masquerade. Yep. 32 page. You know what I'm saying? $3.99. What happened to Cool Comics? Yeah. Looks like The Witcher, so $3.99 for this comic, 32 page, so 16. So as you can see, man, the comics are cheaper with the big two, Marvel and DC. I think Marvel's website is garbage, so so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you why these are overpriced. Why these comics, why they're actually forcing you, the consumer, and they're cornering the customer to buying it at a higher expense. Because if you look at this iSum book I got, this iSum cover I got, it's a soft cover, perfect bind. But he could have easily made it something like this, like a saddle stitched soft printing. And I'll even show you, I had some comics printed. This is a digest size, what I'm saying, saddle stitched, or I had an 8x11 printed, 8x11. I had one printed, you know what I'm saying? So if he wanted to, he could have made it cheaper, but nah, he didn't, and I'll show you why I think. Now, when it comes to Eric July's book, when it comes to iSum, and I've got when it comes to iSum, and I have the box it got ordered, it arrived at, so it arrived at, I got the boxes and all that. Let me show it to you. Let me remove this screen. So you see, I have the book and I have what it was mailed in, what it was mailed in. And I think what it was mailed in, I'm going to show you what I think he used to print these books and have them mailed, and why I might be able to replicate to you the original price of these books. So let's go. Let me go on the site once more. Let's add this. Yeah, I think Eric July used I think he used Greco Printing Comic Wellsprings to print his book. That's what I think he did. So let's see if let me show you how much I think his book costs. Because look, they do all the stuff that comes with it. They even do the I'll show you, they do the boxes. I'm trying to look for their products. So let's go to all products. So I think, you see, look at this. I think he had the book delivered. I think he had the book delivered and produced by Greco Printing. You know what I'm saying? Well, actually, I might be wrong. I might be wrong. So I think he used Greco Printing to ship out the books. You know what I'm saying? But then again, I'm looking at this box. Doesn't look the same, but maybe I'll figure it out. Maybe it was Print Ninja. But let me show you products. Now, a lot of these guys like to argue, like to say, well, you got to negotiate with a comic book printer. You got to call them. You got to contact. You got to talk to them. No, you don't. You don't have to at all. You just go to a website such as this, Comic Wellsprings, and you can have your comic book printed. So now let me pick out what I think he used to print this comic. So novel comics. Yeah. So I think I think he used this. Now let's try to see the price. I'm gonna give me 1 minute. So all right, let's see. Let's try to replicate the book he did. You know what I'm saying? So you would go on this website. Now, Eric July's ISOM 1 is 96 pages. So 96 pages. Let's do the math. Give me a minute. 96. So 48 pages. So it's a 48 page physical. So let's say interior page count. So it's 46. No, it's 96 page. So let's say he did 96 pages. You know what I'm saying? So he had 96 pages. Now let's say, let's try to do the quantity. I don't think they'll be able to match the quantity, but let's say he did 10,000. So let's say that the quantity is 10,000. So let's say the size is this. He had a cover. Let's say the cover was 100% gloss. And name of the comic, I'll just mess with it. Some UV. I don't think he would have done UV. And look at that. There's even foil covers right here for you to choose from. But I won't do that first. So let's say page-wise, by the feel of the thickness, I think he went for 70 or, I think he went for 80 gloss. 80 gloss. And here's the thing. You see, he chose his order. Here's the thing. You can upload, you can uh, you can send them a link. So you could send a link to the PDF, you know. You could send a link for them to download the PDF. Now let me show you what a PDF. I mean, I think everyone knows what a PDF is. I think everyone really knows. I think we all know what a PDF is. So you would paste the link to download the PDF that is on like a Google Drive or something like that. You paste the link and then you get your order. So let's see how much it would cost. Let's see, adding to costs. Yeah. I think ordering all these books, and if he was to add mailer boxes, if he was to add boxes and all that, and I think 10 of those. Let's see, add, continue. So you're looking at the price, man. So that'll be $76,000, $300. If you add the shipping, would probably increase it and all that, but you could easily do this yourself. So the narrative, when people are talking about the narrative that you got to go negotiate with a printer, you got to go talk to them, that's BS. You could do it right online, sitting at home. You know what I'm saying? You could do it right online. So as you could see, this is perfect binding. Same type of binding and quality as this ISOM book, you know, and it's a 96 page interior. But here's where I show you that it could have been a lot cheaper. Could have been a lot cheaper for the customer and cheaper for Eric. But a lot of these guys are in love with this novel printing, novel type format. And then you'll hear shame the customer that if you want something such as this, if you want something of this quality, it would be wrong. It would be wrong to want something like this, which is cheaper, more affordable, and especially for the customer. So now let's go to products. Now I'm going to show you Now, what if this was a saddle stitch comic? Oh, no, that's a sketchbook. Give me a minute. Oh, yeah, let's say you were printing a saddle stitch comic. This is where Eric could have used this type of product and done it cheaper for the customer. You know, I like 100 cover gloss. Let's just put some foil. We don't need foil, but you could add foil here. Look at that. You could add all the foil covers you want. No limitation. I don't know what that is about. But add number to front cover. Oh, you could add the number to the front. As you could see with the iSum book, there is a number to it. There's a number to the book. But let's get the price. Let's get the price going. So interior. Oh, wow. Yeah, they don't do interior more than 64 pages saddle stitch. So I don't think he could have made it cheaper here when it came to the page count, you know, because it doesn't go above 64 pages. But I'll show you a website that most likely does. Let's see. You know, and the other thing with this site, the other reason I think he might have used this site is that this website also, this website, Comic Springs, will also handle something like your Kickstarter. It would handle your Kickstarter. Let's see Kablam. You got something like, I think he might have used Kablam. You know, you got Kablam, which is a printer. It's just Kablam's website is just, it's horrible, man. And, you know, he could have ordered a paperback right here. So look at the paperback, you know, he could choose the page count, 96, full color, satin finish. You could have choose a gloss finish. You know, put the name iSum, and oh, you know, he wouldn't put the Kablam ad. But yeah, he could have done that. That's $13 for a page. I'm trying to see how much, and let's say again 10,000. You know what I'm saying? So that's about $12 per book. And in total, that'll be $125,000. But it could be done. This is a paperback like the book he's doing right now. But also, he could have done something such as comics. So in comics, he could have done something such as the interior page count. Man, these sites don't go above, they don't go to about 96 pages. So he couldn't do it here. But another website available is Print Ninja. Well, we could have went to a website such as Print Ninja, you know, where you could order for prints. All right, let's get a quote. Oh, you could decide to, so you could order, let's say, a single issue. If you was trying to go cheaper. About our process. Okay, he goes to quoting. So, you know, you could have done it on a website such as Print Ninja. Now, with what he went to, he went with the soft cover, but I'm going with saddle stitched. And, you know, I'm going with regular comic book size, you know, modern comic book, and quantity. Let's say, you know, what he did. Let's say about, that's 40,000. So I say 15,000. Cover. Say the cover stock. So the cover was about that. Say gloss. We'll just leave it at that. And look, you could choose foil. You could choose the foils from this site. You know, you get all your choices. You could choose a foil type if you wanted to. And look, you could set up a variant cover. You could choose gloss. And look, you could set up variants. You could set up the amount of variant covers you wanted and the page count. I think page count, like I was saying, it'll be 48 pages, so 48. And inside page material, most likely could have chose 85 gloss. All these options you could choose from. You could get a proofing, all that, Then you calculate, and that's $10,000. And, plus the shipping. So he could have, if he wanted to, he could have used saddle stitch instead of the soft stitch version. So, he could have done that. So, you can order your books from anywhere. The only thing with Print Ninjas, I think they print from China, so the shipping's a little crazy. But yeah, I think he could have got it from here to print it, and he could have got it saddle stitched instead of hardcover. So you wouldn't have to worry. It didn't have to be this thick, you know. But and then there's another website I could show you, Mixium printing. This site right here. So, you could have ordered on here too, man. You could have ordered a comic right here. Mixium allows you to do the shipping. He could have chose the sizing. And look at that, US. Yeah, I think that is the size he had. Portrait, let's say 10,000. And let's see. Paperweight, let's say he did 80,000. Staple, let's say the pages he did about the page count he was doing. So 48 pages, added a cover, gloss, 100 pounds, color, and gloss limitation. And look, you could add foils. You could add a foil right here if you wanted to, so, and that would have been $11,000. Just put the zip code. Let's see what happens. So, he could have printed for the customers this type of book, saddle stitched. You know what I'm saying? Instead of a hardcover, he could have chose something like this, man. The old classic. Stapled. He could have chose stapled. And, the pricing would have been different. But let me get back. But in closing, the thing is this, all this talk about being pro customer, helping the comic book stores, it's a lie. And I'm gonna show you one more reason why this parallel comic book stuff, it's not gonna do anything when it comes to the role the major companies will be playing. Let's check this out. Now, what I'll be doing is I'm gonna be searching Eric July. So I'll search Eric July, comic book store tour. You know what I'm saying? That's another thing, is that you look online. So what I searched was Eric July comic book store tour. Now Eric July has a channel with about 515,000 subs. So after the success of ISOM 1, now a lot of these guys vow to help the comic book stores, get them back in business. You don't see any videos of him touring the comic book stores, going on tour to sell his comics. You don't see him. You know what I'm saying? You don't see this. You don't see any tours. Now let's look up Razorfish. It's Razor Fist sold a successful pulp comic and pulp book and all that. Raised his money with his comic. Let's say Razorfish book tour. So you don't, you'll see these guys hopping on different different YouTuber accounts, but you don't see any tours. Like, where's the tour of Razorfish going to the comic book stores to promote his book, to help the book sell, to help the comic shops and so on? You won't see any tours with these guys. You know what I'm saying? You won't see any tours. Let's see. I'll just type. Let me see. Ethan Van Sciver comic shop tour. Yeah, you won't see any. You won't see them at any shops touring to help sell the books they've released. You won't see anything. And a lot of these guys have channels with over 100,000 subs that could shine a light on comic book stores and help them sell. So you don't see none of this. All you see is that they'll release a book on Indiegogo. Let me get back. They'll release a book on Indiegogo, Kickstarter, and you don't. I mean, let me check one more thing. Let's see if this guy did it. Let's see. So yeah, you're looking for Tim Lin. I think he was at one comic convention. He's at a comic convention, but you don't see him touring any comic book shops. So a lot of these guys will do all this talk about helping the comic book shops, helping the comic book stores, and they have hundreds of thousands of subs. They'll release a book online. They'll release a book on something such as a Indiegogo, a Kickstarter. Yet you won't see them at the comic book shops promoting their book, selling it there, and letting the world know you can pick it up at this comic book shop. Come meet me, I'll sign my books. Get active. You've raised the money, so now go around to comic book shops, have some meet and greets, and sign these books. But you won't see it. You won't see it yet. The narrative is constantly, we need to be pro-customer. We need to help the comic shops. We need to bring comic book stores back. Yet you won't see many to none touring to sell their books at the shops. You won't see it. But, this is why I say a parallel economy failed comics. Because in the long run, besides seeing the number when it comes to the money raised and the money made, you don't really see any other activity. It becomes more like a political treasure chest. Give me more money. Let's make money so I can have more money to fund and fight the left, fight the woke.
Everybody's like, no, we can just argue on the internet endlessly.
Yeah,
it's like, all right, and make money selling our stupid books and whatever else we're doing, all the political grifters out there.
Yeah, I've been seeing you've been getting into it with one of those guys in the comic book.
There's a lot of them. There is one
Eric
guy.
July?
Eric July, who is a right-wing. Well, he says he's not. These guys, they always play these games. They go, well, I'm not right-wing. And you're like, yeah, but you are on the Blaze. Your paycheck is paid by Glenn Beck. You're right-wing.
You're like on the spectrum of right wing.
You're in that camp.
I'm a post-libertarian, apocalyptic, social conservative.
They always have to have a different name, so he calls himself an anarcho-capitalist, a libertarian, whatever else.
Yeah.
So, he's one of these guys who has a channel, where, you know, all he does all day is tell you that the reason movies are bad is because they're woke. The reason TV shows are bad is because they're woke.
It's a grift.
It's a grift. Look, I'm a guy, I have a channel where I do, you know, movie reviews. I have some big reviews of like the Star Wars movies and stuff. And I am willing to say that some of these movies will occasionally get a little too political. They'll have a bit of a political agenda. That is part of it. But at the end of the day, like, these movies are not failing because of that.
Yeah.
That's one small part of the equation. You know, I'm a guy who cares deeply about storytelling and writing. I've always been, you know, a writer for many years. And when people go, oh, well, if you just take politics out of the movies get better. I'm like, no, that's not, it's not like a secret formula you guys have figured out.
Yeah.
Like, yes, you can go over the top and make it about, ooh, my bad guy's a guy named Trump and he's a big, you know, politician. Yeah, okay, that's too much. But, you know, a lot of these movies, like, I keep thinking about people, you know, the Buzz Lightyear movie failed recently.
Yeah.
People go, oh, because it's woke. It had a gay kiss in it.
Yeah.
I go, no, it's because it didn't have Woody, or it didn't have the voices.
It didn't have the thing that people liked about Toy Story.
Yeah, it wasn't Toy Story. It has nothing to do with this, like, little gay kiss that occurs, like, 2/3 into the movie.
Yeah, and it to be fair, too, expanding on your point, like, just take sitcoms, for example, like in the 90s. They would make tons of spin-offs off of characters in sitcoms. Most of them would fail. I think the only successful spin-off off of a sitcom is Frasier. That was off of Cheers. I mean, so many Hollywood projects fail. Yeah.
There is no perfect formula to making a Hollywood project. And to say that, but these guys, again, they have these channels where they go, well, you know, I'm one of the smartest guys who ever existed, and what they should have done is taken out all the gay stuff and taken out all the diversity and whatever. And I'm like, you still would have had a shitty script. It wouldn't have fixed the movie.
Yeah.
And they're very one-dimensional in their ability to analyze storytelling. So anyway, this guy, Eric July, who, again, is one of these guys who says, oh, you know, there's too many gay characters and there's too much diversity, whatever else. He goes, I'm making a comic book.
Yeah.
And I'm a critic of this guy because, again, I'm a guy who reviews movies, and these guys have kind of come into that space. And I think
you've been doing this for a while.
I've been doing it for a while, and it sucks now that it has become harder to review stuff because people come into the comments and go, you didn't talk about how woke it was. I'm like, well, because that's not the problem with the movie. Like,
that's the main talking point right now.
That's all anyone wants to talk about, and it's because these guys keep harping on it over and over. Yeah. Go woke, go broke.
Yeah.
So this guy goes, I'm going to make a comic. And I go, well, from what I know this guy, he's a dummy. Like, you know, he's an idiot. He doesn't know about storytelling. The only thing he knows is that he doesn't like politics. So he goes, I'm going to make a comic book with no politics, you know, because he has all these connections to the right-wing space. He has, you know, Fox News, he has The Blaze, he has the New York Post, all going, Eric July's anti-woke comic book is coming.
My God. It sounds awful already just to begin. Like, this isn't something that I would spend $1 on.
Well, I mean, it's fine if you don't want to put politics in your comic. Plenty of comics are just, you know, slugfests and monsters and cowboys and whatever else.
But that's the selling point. Is like,
that's
we're
the selling
not woke.
point.
We're not. Yes. What are you then? What's not that everything is woke, but like, tell me the story. Don't put your politics ahead. That's the irony of it, because they're still putting politics ahead.
Absolutely. You know? Well, that's the other thing, is that you looked at the campaign, because he ran a campaign to raise money for it.
Yeah.
And, you know, the campaign has maybe one paragraph what the story is, but then all the marketing is, we're going to destroy the left, and it's going to be anti-woke, and we're going to establish a new economy. So this guy actually raised millions of dollars for this stupid comic book on the back of this anti-woke grift, and it's terrible. It's a genuinely terrible comic book. Now, you can say I'm biased, and that's fair, and I probably am biased. But let's put it this way. My co-host, Dick Masterson, who is a right-wing guy, he was, you know, constantly going, oh, you're just being a little jealous bitch and whatever else. I'm sure the comic's fine. I'm going to read it. It's, you know, you're just being a little, you know, nitpicker. And then he read it, and he comes on our show to do a review, and he goes, well, that was one of the worst comics I've ever read in my life. And I go, I told you. The guy, look, he's got a great marketing campaign, but again, he's never written anything in his life. He's not a, you know, writer. He's not a guy who knows how to analyze story or even understand basic Hollywood plot structure. Story beats 3-act structure.
The hero journey.
The hero's journey. And people are going, well, you know, maybe he just tried something new. If you're a first-time writer, if you've never written anything, try the hero's journey. You try it on for size, see how it feels. Anyway, the thing about this anti-woke grift is that it's such a community of, you know, fervent guys who go, we're going to destroy the left, we're going to establish our own, you know, parallel economy, that we have now, for the past month or so, all of his, you know, thousands of fans are furious with us. And we think this is funny because We're like, I thought you guys were mad at, the leftists. Like, I thought you were fighting with them. It's so easy to get you distracted from your war on wokeness that now it's your war on two guys who have an idiotic podcast that dared to review your internet dad's comic. So it's been a fun month of all these guys coming at us. Obviously, it's been, weird for me having my own comic out there that I'm trying to raise money for.
Yeah.
So, now they're attacking my comic. They're going, your comic looks like SJW trash. And I'm like, well, if that's what you think, it's just for my fans. I think they're going to like it. So, that's been that drama so far.
It's crazy because I had a conversation with somebody about this the other day. It just feels like, it's always felt like this, but now it feels even more enhanced. That people just want somebody to follow.
Yes.
And on social media, it's so easy to just have that emotional grab on somebody that I'm fighting the wokies.
Mm-hmm. People want to be a part of something, and it's a very complex topic. Right now I think people are really lacking for a community. People are desperate to find a community to belong to.
Yeah.
At a certain point in this country, not to get too weird, people were very connected by religion. It used to be you go to your church every week, and that's where you saw your friends, and those were the people you were trying to impress and whatever else. Well, the religion's kind of fallen apart for a couple different reasons. Yeah. Now people have really latched onto politics as their new religion. Now it's not about, I'm going to hang out with all my fellow Christians. It's, I'm going to hang out with all my fellow leftists, and I want to impress them, and I want to have the right politics for them.
Yeah.
So we have this extremely... the political system has become two religions warring with each other.
Essentially, yeah.
And people's emotions are getting way too high, where I go, guys, we criticized a comic book. We read a comic book. We said, shit. It's like, basically, we're trying to kill their God in their eyes.
Yeah.
That's their pastor. That's their guy they turn into every day for the daily sermon about how the woke leftists are destroying this country.
Yeah.
And we went to their pastor and we said, well, your comic book sucks. And they go, how dare you attack the apostle, Eric July?
That's a great analogy, the whole religion thing. And it almost at least with religion, you had the idea of salvation.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of these political discussions don't really have anything tangible that they really want to do to fix or change anything about the country. It's just essentially inflammatory conversations. So you're supposed to hate this person because they're bad because of X, Y, G. You know what I mean?
You don't really see them going around. Even the pricing practices do not benefit the comic book shops. You know what I'm saying? If the comic book shops are struggling with their business, how are they going to stay afloat if they got to order comics from you that are priced at $50 a book, $40 a book, $35 a book? How is a comic book shop going to survive or succeed when your books are that expensive? And another thing I didn't mention, but it'll be shown, is that these guys are still antagonistic, fighting people online and so on, then instead of switching to more business-minded.
And if you don't like my politics, don't buy my book. Problem solved.
All right. I can talk about it. He's here. Welcome to the stream, Dick Masterson.
Hello. What's up, guys? Thanks for having me on. Eric, what are you doing, man? Why are you this sensitive to simple criticism? Even coming from Ethan, who's an industry veteran, dude. It comes off as so childish and insecure. You know that, right?
I disagree. I think you're dramatizing what's happening, but I'm cool with that.
Read chat, buddy. Read chat, because they know. Chat always knows. You're
cool.
coming off for a guy who made $3.7 million fucking dollars that you can't take basic story structure critiques that I didn't even invent.
I'm okay with basic story structure critique.
Okay, what's your plot?
As far as what?
Act 1, Act 2, Act 3.
Why on earth would I explain all of that? What do you mean, going into the future for ISOM 1, 2, and 3?
No, I'm talking about book 1. What's the plot? What's the character's
what part did you
motivation?
not understand? What part are you confused on? I'll answer any questions that you have. Just be direct.
Okay. What are Isom's superpowers? He's a superhero. He puts himself in danger. We need to know what kind of super abilities he has to know if he's risking his life.
Do you see him do anything super in the book?
Yeah, he gets thrown down into a car and smashed the shit out of the car. So he seems like a superhero.
So what about you remember the guy that he fought, Santuan? He fought him twice. Did he do anything super during those interactions?
Yeah, he jumped off a wall and then flipped around in midair and threw him through that same wall. That's pretty super.
So that means that you at least see that he, as far as what his powers are, he's able to do some super things. What you don't know is like the origin of those powers and to what extent. And we'll get to explaining those. Just be patient. It's the first book.
Okay, so he does have superpowers? I mean,
yeah, I think when you fall from as far as he did when he got thrown onto a car
why does
by Yara, as well as when he jumps off a wall and then he jumps into another exit and rams him into a brick wall and the brick wall breaks. I think it's pretty obvious, and I don't have to hold the person's hand and explain that to them that he probably has powers because of regular.
Why don't you just say yes then? What's up with
that.
this like smug attitude? Why that's kind of been my problem this whole time. Like I gave you very basic notes of
and we went through those notes. We went through those notes, no problem. We went through.
Yeah, I know you called me a hoe ass N-word while you were going through the notes. I saw that, but
yeah, I went through the notes and we talked about all of that. You called me a scammer, so yeah, that makes you a hoe ass nigga because you lying about my business. So
yeah,
I do stand by that. I want to be clear now that you hear.
Your business is marketing anti-woke shit to morons.
Well, that's and you're free to that opinion. I've never marketed anything as such, but you called my business a scam. This is something that's my livelihood.
Dance on the
you called my business a scam, and I called you a hoe ass nigga, and now you're hearing me calling you one, and I just want to be clear. That's
you said you were going to dance on the graves of Marvel and DC comic artists.
No, what I said, no. See, you're getting a saying wrong. At least get it correct if you're going to talk about it. What I'm saying is, I said I'd moonwalk on the dead careers of comic pros is what I said.
Well,
you heard me say that on your stream as well. I said it all the time.
Is this more? This is like the assault thing. Like you get hung up on these really simple details. I can't tell if you genuinely don't understand the point, or if you're just trying to.
What point have I not addressed? What else do you want me to say?
You have set yourself up as an alternative to other comics.
Now you're mad. Now you're mad. Just calm down.
I am mad because you're lying. You're lying to your audience and you're lying to me. You set yourself up as an upcoming alternative to mainstream comics, and that buying your shitty book for $40 would somehow strike a blow into Marvel and DC comics.
I think you're being disingenuous. I'll explain exactly what the point I'll explain exactly what the point is. Am I a competitor? Yes. I have 3 principles with the Rippaverse.
You're not.
All right, well, that's fine. You're free to that opinion. Nonetheless, I have 3 principles. We have that over there at the Rippaverse Ethics. And one of those, of course, there are people that have issue. I've griped and moaned about the mainstream, and I've talked about it extensively about my certain issues. And I went through every bit of that in building my actual company. So to those people, yes, they may find that my company and the books that we make and we put out or release, publish, whatever you want to call it, the books that we put out, they might enjoy that. This idea that I'm going to topple, I believe you said that to me in a tweet, something about toppling Hollywood. That's not anything that I've ever presented to do.
Yeah, I mean, that's a euphemism because Hollywood is all Marvel now. Like Hollywood is comic books right now. So saying you're challenging mainstream comics is saying like, I'm going to challenge Hollywood. Like, I don't understand why you're taking issue with something that is like a fine.
That's not really
totally
my
fine
approach.
to say you're challenging Hollywood. I don't know why you're not.
No, that's cool. That's inaccurate though. That's fine. That's inaccurate.
Well, so do your customers think that you're challenging Hollywood? Like, I don't know.
I'm gonna be honest. You're one of the few people that I've ever heard worded as such, as far as like toppling Hollywood. Like I've never even presented myself as if I was going to do that. Now, if they feel that way, thankfully, but I'm gonna need a lot more than $3.7 million to do that.
Well, you're going to need a good story, and you don't have one.
And that's fine. You're free to. I disagree.
Understand what's wrong with your story. See, your main character has no motivation. He's doing a wellness check on a girl that's the daughter of a friend of a family that goes to church. And then when he finds that girl, she doesn't even say she's in trouble. Your entire plot
it's almost as if there's going to be more. That's not a plot hole. It's almost as if there's more
plot.
to it.
It's not a plot hole. It's no plot.
Well,
there is no reason for him to be involved at all. She's not in trouble. She doesn't say she's in trouble.
Right.
There's no indication she's in trouble.
Right.
Your plot is literally nothing.
Okay, so do you not know why did I'm gonna ask you this question since you supposedly read it. Why did Isom go back to the club after he was thrown out the first time?
Because he was disrespected. Because he's a stand-in
Okay,
for
so you just said,
and the only thing you
that
care about is being disrespected.
Okay, so you just said that he had no motivations, and you just named one.
But that's not a good motivation for a
All right,
hero,
if you
man.
don't
That's
like
a
that,
motivation for a
if you don't
shithead.
like that, if you don't like that as a motivation for why he was really driven to go back to that club, I'm perfectly fine with that. I just disagree.
Yeah, but it also doesn't flow from the first motivation. Like, your first motivation should be enough to start the story, and then as it evolves during the story, it should become more personal to the hero.
Well,
Yours
that's exactly what
doesn't evolve.
happened. That's literally what happened with the disrespect.
It's totally different. It's
No,
out of nowhere
all right.
that he's
All right, so that's literally
disrespected.
what happened. All right, I'm gonna explain it to you. He first went, and again, you're free to disagree with that and not like it. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But he first went to see what's up with Jasmine upon the request of his sister, right? He goes and sees her. Something happens out of that, and he specifically makes it personal, right, to him, and he goes through the internal dialogue as far as why he's wanting to do this. He talks about him not being a detective. He talks about the fact that this could make the issue worse, but I actually want to punch this guy in his face. He discusses each and every bit of that during the internal dialogue. You're saying, I guess, that motivation for him doing that, because I guess he has flaws and all that, is not good enough for you for the first book. That's fine with me. I just disagree.
I'm saying it's not good, and that if you want to be a comic writer, you should learn what makes good motivation.
I disagree. I think,
but that's the problem. Is you're a beginner. You don't know shit about this, and you disagree with everything.
Again, I can disagree with your position, but there are people that have the complete opposite position, and your word isn't gospel. That might
your friends who want to suck your ass so they can get access to all that money
and that's
in your
cool
audience.
with me. That's cool with me. You don't have to disrespect my customers there, but there are people that have the
money. I'm disrespecting your friends.
No, I don't have that many. I don't have 40,000 friends. I don't have 40,000 friends, by the way. Nonetheless, you don't have to disrespect my customers.
I'm not,
and that's cool. That's cool. If you don't like the story,
your friends.
If I don't have 40,000 friends, but if you don't like the story, that's your business.
I'm disrespecting your friends that are telling you you're doing a good job.
All right, that's cool. That's cool, and that's fine. That's your business.
Do you not understand? Like, do you not think that you could get better by listening to some of these notes? Like,
absolutely.
Do you not understand
to yours? I'm gonna be completely honest. To yours, no. But there are people that I can listen to whose opinion that I value. It's just not yours.
Yeah. Okay. So you think your story was good?
Yep.
What cliffhanger did it end on? Your book, the big
didn't read
second. Yes, I read. I don't know why you're telling people I didn't read the book when I took like exhaustive notes on.
Yeah, I know. You got some things fundamentally wrong, and that's why I thought that you maybe didn't read it, or maybe you was reading from someone else's notes.
I think I don't know if you're like weirdly obsessively fixated on lines that I wrote while I was reading so I could remember later, or if you're like disingenuously misrepresenting the notes.
Like you did my book. Like you did some of the events in my book.
I think your book is a story failure.
And that's fine. That's fine.
But that's not misrepresenting it.
Well, no, misrepresenting would be like claiming that someone assaulted someone when they didn't. That would be misrepresenting.
Nah, if you don't know if somebody's if a big black guy on the street grabs a girl, that's assault in my book. And if she doesn't say like, "Oh yeah, hey, how are you?" that's assault.
Okay, all right. So putting his hand on the shoulder of someone, saying, "Hey, let me know if this is involuntary to you is assault." All right, I for sure won't be listening to anything you have to say.
Like it's a joke that I'm writing these notes for myself so I remember. It's not a major thing, but I saw him grabs Jasmine's shoulder, and then the security guard grabs his shoulder and he goes, "Who are you to just grab somebody's shoulder?" Like he just did that in the panel right before it.
What he said was why is this your first instinct? Because he told him obviously in an aggressive way, which is the complete opposite of what Isom did. You see that he's grabbing him in the way that he did, and he uses that to justify whooping the guy's ass.
Yeah.
And then he walks in the club. And the other thing that you misrepresented, which is hilarious, where you try to give me advice, but the actual advice that we were talking about this earlier, the actual advice that you give me there is exactly what happened, where you say what he should have did was go in there, run in the club, warn everybody, and then get attacked. And that's exactly what happened. Yet you said that's what I should have done.
I mean, you're hung up with like small
see now I'm hung
that
up.
I would
So you
change.
mentioned something that you say.
No.
And
I
now I'm getting
support
hung
that,
up.
but it's
All
just
right,
not
that's cool.
important. I
All
support
right,
that
man.
it's a waste of everybody's time. Like
That's fine.
Isom
That's cool,
comes in
man.
and says, "Ladies, if you you better leave because if you get involved, I'm going to beat your ass too." That's not a very heroic thing to say.
All right, that's
what the bad guy in
cool.
fucking
That's cool.
RoboCop said,
That's
dude.
cool.
Like I know you have no memory, no
That's
working
cool.
memory of other properties. That's why your
cool.
book sucks so much.
Cool.
But that's
cool.
what
All
bad
right, man.
guys say.
Anything
But it's
else you
not
want
even a hero thing, though, Dick. Like
did
that's
you-
one of the things that I don't understand. That you think that he's supposed to be a superhero. I don't think he was represented as a superhero in the book at all. He was represented as a guy with powers. We don't actually know if he's a super quote unquote hero yet or not.
Right. He still has to be a protagonist, which means he has to be identifiable. He has to be
but
we
he
have
was.
to identify with what he's doing. Walking in. Well, then what did you identify with, Nina? What was the cliffhanger to you?
It is a superhero book, though, so I think most people going into this assume the character has powers.
Yeah.
Why is it a weird debate?
Cover, dude. It's on the cover. Like he's a powered dude that's fucking punching this chick. Like
I don't have an encyclopedic knowledge of
just
comics,
based
but I'm
on
pretty
that,
sure
you
there's
could-
a Batman comic where a guy is punching.
Just off of the book alone, you can assume he has some kind of enhanced strength and like flight, like that, or high agility. There's artwork of him out there like doing some flying.
I just know what I read in the book.
He does some agility stuff,
like
but
hovering.
He doesn't fly. Okay. See, all this stuff, Eric, is good to get out of the way in the introduction of your book.
It says in the book he doesn't
explicitly
fly.
says it in the book.
Yeah.
He explicitly says it.
Flash, did
he
you
goes
read
through
it?
that internal dialogue.
He literally says in the book that
See,
he
this
doesn't
is what I'm
fly.
talking about with you not being in good faith, because you can't get fundamental things correct. Because you're so mad at you, so for whatever reason, angry at myself and the success it is that we saw, and you're just shitting on people's friends and customers and all, and going on about this other stuff. And you can't even get fundamental thing wrong. He specifically goes through internal dialogue about him not being able to fly. You claim to have read the book and you couldn't even
didn't think he could fly until Flash said he could fly.
Well,
you just tried to lecture me. Hold on.
When there was the material to promote the book, there was something out there that looked like he was doing like a
hold on.
Flash, so you thought he could fly, right?
Okay. So you said you read the book, right?
No fucking answer. Every time I ask anything about Isom, no fucking answer because none of you guys read this piece
you
of
said
shit.
you read the book, right, homie? You said you read the book, right, homie? So why would you try to lecture me on some things that we should go through when he specifically goes through that internal dialogue?
I didn't say he could fly, you jackass. Flash.
No, that's not what I see. All right.
Yeah, to be fair, I read the book.
You just said no. What you just said, what you just went tonight. Now you're very angry, and that's cool. But you just calm the fuck down. You ain't gonna do shit.
I'll be as angry as I want.
You're not gonna do shit. You're not gonna do shit to anybody. Anyway, like I was saying, you tried to lecture me. You tried to lecture me about going through like why I should have went through something, and then what you specifically are referring to, I actually went through it in the book. You get this critical error wrong multiple times. Multiple times. He goes through the internal dialogue of him not being able to fly. You just tried to we need to rewind that.
Fly, you stupid fuck. Flash.
You just went through. No,
Flash
you just
said he could fly. I said
all right,
he
so
could
you
fly.
just said this is something that I should have went through. I'm trying to explain. I don't know if we need to rewind it. I don't know if the acoustics is bad.
Well, Flash
where
didn't
you're
get it, and I
sitting. What I'm
assumed he
saying
read it.
is you just tried to lecture me about it.
I read it when it came out, so it's been a long time since
this fucking monologue is aimed at you, Flash. I don't know. I knew he couldn't fly. You said he could.
You just said that this was something that you tried to lecture me of. This is something that I should have gone through. Did you not just say that?
Yeah, because Flash didn't get it.
Okay, so if he didn't get it, you can't lecture me about something that I actually went through. If you want to say that that's a failure, because I actually give a damn about this industry. I want to see it grow. I want to see it thrive. I want to see the creatives benefit. I want my customers to have fun, the anticipation, the enthusiasm, friendship from a fandom that will grow for years, where people leave their politics at the door and create something special. No matter how much of the out of print media grows, it's still about the comics. The mega corporations that y'all are dependent on and so protective of may be moving on very soon. And everybody from the creatives to the retailers are going to have to make a decision. Will you opt to maintain your miserableness and watch this industry be ran into the ground? Or will you drop the ideological bullcrap, be competitive, and help not only save this industry, but grow it? Y'all let me know.
But other than that, I had to show it because the parallel economy failed comics, because I don't see where this benefits. I don't see where it benefits the consumer due to the pricing practices of $15 for a PDF. You know what I'm saying? $50 for a comic book. $50 for a comic book. $75 for a graphic novel. $100 for a graphic novel. How does this benefit the consumer? Then you don't you a lot of them are evasive when it comes to the digital providing a PDF. Many only provide the PDF to the printer, the person printing the comic book. They don't provide a PDF to the consumer, just the printer, you know, because many don't believe that a digital comic is a real comic. Then in the case of, you got the Eric July book, a lot of them force this perfect binded soft cover paperback on the consumer rather than the saddle stitched, you know what I'm saying, stapled. That's cheaper for the consumer. They favor, a lot of these guys favor the collector. You know what I'm saying? From what I've seen, a lot of indie guys are really looking for their opportunity to participate. They wish they were the ones who made money and participated in the comic book bubble that happened in the 90s. You'll get hundreds of variant covers, hundreds, for overpriced comics that are really anti-consumer. When how can you be pro-consumer when you're telling a consumer they don't have the right to a digital comic? You don't believe digital's the right way. Then you also are punishing the consumer when you make your book, you make your book and you're more focused on a paperback. You're more focused on it being a major collectible presentation, than something they could buy. And another thing I almost forgot. I can't believe I almost forgot. The other problem is that let's go to Amazon. Amazon. So let's go to Amazon. So I'm gonna go to Amazon. Now I'm on Amazon. Now let's look up. Now as you could see, I'm on Amazon. Now Lady Death. You know what I'm saying? Now David Paluto. So let's see Lady Death. So he sells his comics here. You know what I'm saying? Lady Death is sold here. So Brian Paluto, he sells his comics. So he makes sure that the consumer has access to his comics. So Brian Paluto sells his comics on Amazon. So iSum is a year old and you can't find it. You can't find it on Amazon. And this is supposed to be helping change the case of comics, help the consumer, pro-consumer, but you can't even find the comic on Amazon. Now let's look up, I'll look up something. I think Common America. Yeah, he sells it on here. So, oh wow. Yeah, Common America, he adds the Kindle Unlimited. So, you could read this for free if you want to. You know what I'm saying? It's on Kindle Unlimited. All Tim Lynn's books, for the most part, I think, are on Kindle Unlimited. So he makes sure that it's available for the customer. It's available for the customer, because, you're pro-customer. If you're pro-customer, then it should be available. Now, let's say Common America. omnibus. So, this is a collection of volumes 1 to 4. Even still, the pricing is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Pricing is wild. So now, where can we find Eric July's book? Let's see, eBay. I'll look up eBay. Well, there, look at that. It's only available on eBay for people trying to sell it on eBay for $89, $79. You know what I'm saying? So on eBay, it's just a bunch of people trying to sell the book on eBay. So on eBay, this is where it's at. Let me go back to Amazon. Someone. Some comic. That's nowhere to be found on Amazon. So the Some comic isn't on Amazon at all. And this is supposed to be pro-customer, pro-consumer, making it easier for the customer to find the books, buy the books, and participate in the parallel economy. Yet if you look at the parallel economy, one, they're overt to digital. They don't want to sell digital to the customer. They believe digital is not a real comic. You know what I'm saying? Even though they send a digital copy to the printer for it to be printed. You know what I mean? Then the digital is usually overpriced for a PDF, $10, $15 for a PDF. Insane. Then the other aspect is it's overpriced. The consumer has to pay $40 to $50, $30 for a comic, even though the printing price is far cheaper. Rather than it be about recouping investment, it's inflated pricing practices for the comic. You know what I'm saying? Inflated pricing practices. Then, then number 3, you can't really find the books outside of their campaigns to raise money. You can't even find the books at all online, any place to buy it besides the fundraising site. And number 4, it's so overpriced it doesn't benefit or help the comic book shops these guys keep talking about and saying they want to help, and even the consumers, the children, the future customers. It doesn't do nothing. Number 5, it's just really money to be made for your war chest against the left, the woke, and all that stuff. And it's really political money, even though a lot of these guys will tell you they're not political and all that. But it's all that money's really made for helping their politics, the side they're on, because you don't see any of them traveling or touring comic book shops to help the comic book shops sell or make any money in the pricing practice. So to me, tell me where this, a paralleled economy, tell me where it helped or it's successful for comics. When the majority, you could go on Indiegogo yourself, you could go on Kickstarter yourself, and you'll see that most of the comics are overpriced. And after the campaign's over, you'll struggle to find it. But this has been Hold the Truth Hostage, where if the truth was so important. Oh yeah, almost forgot. And like I said, they'll force paperback on you rather than saddle stitch. They'll force this hardcover for what, 28 pages? For 28 pages, you really need a hardcover book. 28 page. So, it's all a joke, man. In all honesty, they make it more obvious that Marvel, DC, Dark Horse, Image, the other companies, it's up to them to save the industry. It's up to them. It's up to them because these indie guys have no care for the pricing at all. They don't care. about hyperinflating the prices to the customer. They just care about how they sound, claiming they're fighting the woke, sending all these messages and all that BS. But, this has been Hold the Truth Hostage, where if the truth was so important, you wouldn't negotiate with lies, you would hold the truth hostage. All right.
And by the way, crowdfunding is not terribly helping either, because the vast majority of crowdfunded stuff is also being sold at $15, $20, because whether it's, conscious, whether they realize it or not, they're playing to the same strategy. They're playing to a strategy of a very small number of collectors. I don't know if Eric July, I don't know if he has plans, for example, in his book of, hey, once I get this thing in production, I start churning out more and I get the operations all worked out, I'm going to lower the price because that's how I'll appeal to a wider audience. I don't know. Maybe he may have said that. I don't know if that's his play or not. But you might argue, why would he do that? If you're able to raise a bunch of money, if you're able to sell your comics to a specific niche, niche, by the way, or niche, it doesn't mean small. It just means specific. There is a specific audience that, is willing to pay money for those books because it for whatever reason. Now, I don't think July is hitting.
I love horror comics. I've always been fascinated by so-called trash media like pulp novels and comics. They were meant to be read and then thrown away when one was done reading them. To me, horror books are emblematic of what the comic experience should be like. They were printed on newspaper because you were literally just supposed to throw them away when you were done reading them, like you did with the regular paper every day. It was what was expected. Comics were never initially intended to be fetishized and kept in clear plastic with cardboard backings, and hidden away in a long box somewhere in the closet or basement. And there's something to that idea that fascinates me, art that was designed for one-time use.